I've been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for the last 2 to 2.5 years, but in that time it's impacted my life massively on and off the mats. So I thought today I'd share 3 lessons that I've learned on the mats, applying to training as well as aspects of my life as well. So lesson number 1 is building resilience. First, doing all the foundational lessons, I had no clue what any of the language was. I used to struggle just chaining together movements. I used to get subbed about 5, 6, 7 times every single round for a good 6 to 8 months. Never used to try attempt subs or anything, and I used to just struggle with my confidence. And the approach I took there was, I'm no good, I'm not doing the best, maybe I should stop the sport entirely. And what I learned in that moment is, over time, you've got to learn to build tolerance. I think in those moments you actually learn way more than you do when you end up just winning. So I think there's a lot more value in losing, and anything can happen. You can win, lose, whatever. But I think if you have the mindset of a silver lining mindset, so how that applied to the mats was, anytime I used to get subbed, or if I think, I could pick a technique up on here, or my opponent did something that I've never seen, and always ask for advice on how they did it. 99% of the time your teammates will be happy to help you out. So then over time, each time I got subbed, I just laughed and smiled, because you learn from your mistakes and you learn in those moments where maybe you're not doing the best. And so how this applies to my real life when applying for jobs, so I've applied for several jobs, and when I didn't get a job, or there would be an opportunity that'd be shut down, I wouldn't be sad about it. I know it sort of work out in the end anyway, and I could take each sort of experience as a learning point. And the other thing is, when I started my clinic, my physiotherapy clinic, anytime you start a business or you see it online, people kind of make out starting a business or being an entrepreneur as something really insane. It's always going to be amazing, but in all essence, honestly, it's been such an up and down roller coaster. And with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's helped me compose that and not panic, and build that resilience and that mindset that it will take time, but as long as you're progressing and taking each loss as an experience, then you're never actually really losing. That's all life, realistically, and that's what life is. It's a bunch of experiences that are towered on top of each other, and that's what makes you unique. And you'll lose, you'll win, doesn't really matter. Lesson number 2 is patience. So building a shit ton of patience, especially within the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And for me, what that meant was, in situations where someone is trying to choke you or armbar you, or you're in a really, really bad spot, you could be in the worst position ever. What I learned in them moments over time doing the sport is you've got to stay calm and composed and not panic. What I used to do when I used to roll was, if someone took my back and was about to choke me, I'd panic, just become dead rigid, and I wouldn't be able to think. And it's not good to not be composed in that moment. Albeit, yes, someone's at your throat trying to choke you, but at the same time, there's patience in that moment where you can just chill and relax, and you can still defend that position and not panic. And what I've learned from that is, life can throw all kinds of shit at you. Like at the moment for me, for the last 3 months, I've not been feeling the best mentally, and I'm trying to find my feet again. But from that experience, what I've realized is, what actually matters is how you react and deal with it. So for me, the way I've learned to sort of navigate situations where I find it difficult is, don't react with emotion. Life can throw all kinds of shit at you. Honestly, it could be the worst position you can be in, but it's not sort of what's happened, it's how you react afterwards. And the way I've kind of learned through jiu-jitsu is not to react with emotion, react with logic, take a bit of time away from it, and don't act sort of irrationally with any decisions that you make. So for me, for example, the last 3 months, I've not been in the best shape physically. I've not trained jiu-jitsu in a good few weeks. I've just took a bit of a break, and just mentally not been feeling the best. But at the same time, it's okay recognizing that, knowing that things will get better. You just got to keep going and keep pushing on with it. And finally, lesson number 3 is persistence. So in the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, my coach always says, he has a moving train analogy, which is, you're all on this train training. If you get off at a station, the train will just keep going. and if you get back on, your teammates will be way more ahead. People will have moved on and progressed a lot more, and you won't necessarily get on at the same spot you left at. And the other thing is not comparing your journey to other people's, whether that's in a sport of jiu-jitsu or in life, is not comparing where you are and where other people are. You know, if people have moved on with their life, or you know, got a car or got a new job or whatever it is, or traveling, you know, everyone's on these different timelines. You can put in lots of effort, that'll accumulate over time. So for me, that applies to my business, that applies to my fitness and my gym work, my jiu-jitsu and other things that I do want to do. And it's kind of mentally reminding yourself that it's okay, like you're not sort of behind in life, everyone's at their own stage. So it's not overwhelming yourself with that thought, which I've been doing a lot recently in the last few months. But yeah, keep going, don't give up. This applies both to training and in life. Keep persistent. The little efforts do add up. As I said before, the 1% stack up over time. That accumulates massively. So you know, every day for me, I'm trying to be 1% better, especially as I said in the last few months, and I'm trying to get back to my baseline where I'm training loads, I'm feeling good, and I'm using YouTube as a platform to share my experiences and do that at the same time. So I hope you've learned something valuable from this video in terms of my experiences with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and how it's impacted my life. And honestly, if you've never done Jiu-Jitsu, I would highly recommend at least trying it. As I've said, with the experiences I've discussed in this video, it's taught me so much about life, and I think everyone would benefit. So that's everything. It's been a long, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but subscribe if you're new, and actually comment down if you do jiu-jitsu, what the sports taught you. And yeah, I'll be excited to read those. I'll catch you soon.